Hey everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Today, let's get into a video all about making boxes for the soap. As promised, my husband is going to help me and we're going to make a few with some scraps of some wood that we have around to show you just how easy it is. And then all you need to do is just line the inside. So anyway, let's get going and I'll film a whole lot and hopefully we can help you guys all make boxes for yourself. So get yourself or your hubbies all ready to come and help. You might have a dad, an uncle, a brother, somebody else that can help. Or yourself, mum even can help as well if they're really handy making things. Anyway, let's go. Hey everyone, I'm back again. So what we're doing now is organising everything we need. So we do have this table saw here. If you have a standard saw, you could probably use that. And my husband's just got the earmuffs. Of course, you need a measuring tape or something like that. And then this is the original box that he made for me. So we're just going to replicate that. So obviously we'll need to measure that one down. And then just to the side here, you can see just offcuts of some laminated woods and stuff that we have. So we will just be cutting all those, but I will show you as we're going along the measurements and what we're doing. This time we're not going to be putting any clasps on, just so that we can show all of you how easy it is and how you can actually make this without the clasp, because the paper on the inside, we can just literally pull that out and it's definitely going to work nice and easy. Anyway, let's go and I'll show you how to make it. So now we're just measuring the base of the box first. So my husband has just got this bit here, and if you can see the little cross at the top, that's where we're going to just slim the box down. So the box on the very bottom, which is the base of the box, is going to be 97 millimeters across. Obviously that's from that side to that side, and then the walls will go on the side of these, but I'll show you that as we're going along as well. He's just going to go and get an extension cord, because we're cutting all this outside so that we don't make any mess in the back of his little tool room. But anyway, like I said, this is the base, and it's the very starter of the box, which is nice and easy really, isn't it? So it's going to have the base on the bottom, two of the long sides, and then of course two ends, and I'll show you as we're going along. So my husband is getting everything ready, of course, now, and I thought I would just show you a little bit about Peaches. Here she is, of course, eating a bone in the garden, and like most of you know, I always talk about my husband doing this renovation out the back. So she's enjoying her little bone while we just get everything ready and organised onto this bit here. So I think we are almost ready to go, and then we'll show you. Make sure that you think about safety as well. Wearing, of course, you know, you need to have the goggles and a mask and some glasses, and don't forget to cover your ears. Anyway, let's go. So now let's get going, everybody, by cutting the pieces down to the right size. So my husband has already set up the saw. He has everything set up to the right measurements, of course, and then we're just going to be sliding in this piece. So do make sure, if you're using a saw, that you're using some sort of a grip, or you know exactly what you're doing, because saws can be really dangerous. But my husband's done this so many times, so he's made lots of things for me, so he's up to the task. Anyway, well, let's get going and make the rest of this. And then of course here we are just putting more and more pieces through. Each piece has to be cut so that it's the right measurement, and the measurements will be in the description box. So now we're just getting ready to cut the sides. As I said, we've got to measure them to make sure they're the same size as the other box. And then these ones are going to be a little bit longer, of course. Let's go. Okay everyone, so to make some more, what we've actually done is this one here that you can see, and it does have these metal things which we're going to take off. This was actually just a shelving, so we thought, look, let's cut it up. And this is what I was saying, you can find something around the house that you don't use, and you can just use that as the box. It really doesn't matter what you use. So my husband's just going to take out all the screws and remove this bit, and then we just have this board, and that way we can make some more boxes. As you can see, they are super long, but I wanted them long for my wholesale soaps. But anyway, let's get on to the next bit. So all the bits have been cut now, so like I said, there's quite a few pieces to do. So obviously for the ends you need 2 for each end, and then obviously you need 2 sides for each box, and then you need 1 base for each box, and so on. So we actually had enough materials to make 4 really long boxes, so I'll give you the measurements for that a little bit after, and I will pop that in the description box. But now we're just going to be popping away the saw and all the little bits, and then we'll show you how we put the rest of it together. So now we've done all the pieces and we're just about to measure them up. So we'll just tell you the measurements to recap on them. So the length of the box is going to be
755 millimeters.
Okay, and then the width of the base of the box
is 97 millimeters.
Yep, and then of course we have the ends, so we will just measure
65 millimeters.
So 65, and then of course they are the same height as the sides of the box,
which is 90.
Yep. So then we are all ready, and we've already done all that, but I will pop everything else down in the description box. So the next thing we need is obviously you need a drill to drill them all together, and then the screws that are going to go into the side. You don't need to worry too much about the screws, because remember we will be doing a parchment paper, or as we call it in Australia, a glad paper, and then that will be going on the inside of the boxes to create the molds. Okay, anyway, let's get on to the next bit. So now my husband's just measuring up the length of that, and then he's just going to mark exactly where he's going to be popping in the screws, because of course he does need to like pre-drill, and then the screws will just go in nice and easy, and that way there'll be no mistakes. Anyway, so we'll get on to the next bit of doing this little, it's a bit tedious, but this will make the box nice and straight and stop any issues happening. This is how it's all going to fit together. So you can see it is slowly coming together. And now I think my husband just has to do a few little bits just to double check that it all works.
I'm just marking where the screws indent onto the little side.
See, he knows more than me. See, even he picks on me.
I do not.
Keeping the laughs. Just popping on the ends now, and then we are almost done on box number 1. I honestly don't know, everyone, how much soap is going to hold in this, so I will let you know how many slices I get out of it. But depending, if you're in the US, I know lots of the soap there's about 1 inch wide. So in Australia, ours are usually a little bit smaller. We usually have 2.3 centimetres wide, which is just under 1 inch. So anyway, I will let you know about that bit. But we'll pop all these together and I will show you the end result in just a minute. Alright, we have finished. The first one is done, and it definitely looks amazing because this is like a chipboard as well in the middle, as you can see. You would need to seal that if you were going to wash it or anything like that, but because we're going to be using the paper as the inner mould instead of a silicone, we definitely won't need to do that. The paper will cover all of it, so you don't need to worry about any of those bits. But like I said, you can use all different types of wood, and we've just used what we actually had some offcuts left around. So anyway, we'll get to do the last lot, and then you'll see me in my next video making some soap with these gorgeous molds. So thank you to my amazing husband for doing them again, and I put him to the task as I promised, ladies. So now we have totally finished the boxes. So as you can see here, they are totally finished. So I definitely have 4, which will make about 100 bars of soap. So I can definitely do massive wholesale. And even if not wholesale, I can definitely do some retail ones. So here are the boxes, and you can see that I've lined all of them bar one. And on this one here, I have already drawn the lines and then just put clear tape over the top to protect. So I thought here I'll actually show you how I'm going to be wrapping my boxes, because lots of people have asked me to show how I actually do the inside of lining the boxes. There's lots of different videos out there, and I actually watched Ali every day, and that's where I got the idea on how to do this. And it's really easy. I never did it before because I thought it was really hard, and then when I was watching her, I thought, oh, how easy is this? So basically the whole idea is you're just going to fold over the end. So when you first actually get your paper, what you're going to be doing is making sure the paper goes over both ends and the top, because that way you'll know it's long enough. And then you're going to fold the ends in. And the reason you're folding it in is this will actually become the end of the soap to make like a pocket in this one here. So you can see I'm just measuring it up to see that I've folded it up and it fits perfectly to the inner portion of the mold, because obviously this is going on the inside, not the outside. So you just literally fold it, like I said, so that it's going to fit right into the molds. And then once we've done this particular bit and got this bit all right, then we can actually start to get the cavity lines for the inside. So you literally, once you've folded that over, just pop it inside your mold and just try and make it as even as you can. I had to sort of fiddle around with this because I didn't. And then on the edges of each line along lengthways, you're just going to put like a little crease. And that way when it comes out, we'll know exactly where we're going to fold it. And then that will actually become the perfect kind of cylinder that will go inside your mold, if that makes sense. I know I'm probably not using the right words, but you can see here that I'm literally just trying to crease it with my finger along here, because you don't want to rip it, obviously, because you want this to protect the soap and make sure the soap's inside. And then once I've actually got this bit here, we're going to start to fold along the line. And I do put the camera down in a minute, so I'm sorry if it gets a bit wobbly at the end, but you guys won't mind, I'm sure. And then you're just going to fold along both of the lines to create that perfect, like I said, bottom for your mold. And try not to get any creases in this. If you get creases, just uncrease it. Because if you do get creases, remember that is going to put creases on the side of your soap, and you probably don't want that, or then you've got to plane it off. Personally, myself, if there was any crease that wasn't too noticeable, I would just leave it on the soap, because to me, it really doesn't matter, does it? I mean, you know, it's not important, you know, to make it super perfect, because it is just a lining and it is going to be the side of a soap, and we all know these are homemade anyway. So once I've got this particular bit here, I know this bit is pretty perfect, like I said, along the crease line, and then I'm going to start to work on the end of the particular mold. And the ends, remember, will form, you know, that kind of end of your soap mold. So let's pop the camera down, like I said, and all we're going to do is, it looks literally like a paper plane at the end. So put your finger in the middle crease, and then just make like a little triangle in that end, which you can see me here folding that triangle over. And you're going to do it to both sides of the line. So what I do, so that I don't have heaps and heaps of paper left, I just do it like the little triangle you can see, and then I just cut it straight down the middle. And the reason I'm cutting it here is so that there's not heaps of flap kind of holding over, because if heaps holds over, it will leave like a big lump in the end. And then, of course, that's not very nice, is it? So this is the neatest way, just to trim it in the middle here. And that way it's nice and neat. And you can see here, that's exactly what you want. and the other end we will do exactly the same thing, and just make sure that, you know, you're pressing all your lines in and so on. The extra thing that I actually did do is after I folded the corners and trimmed everything and got it right, then I also folded against the line where the triangles are as well, because that way the line is facing inwards, not outwards, because when you fold it, it will change the direction of the line. And I'm sure you'll know what I mean with the crease. You want the crease to be on the inner part, because then that will actually fit neatly inside the box, which of course is your mold. So anyway, I'm really hoping I'm explaining this bit enough, because when I've watched lots of different people do it, I never really understood it. I thought, oh, that looks so hard, and I never did it. But honestly, it's so much cheaper, because buying the silicon's really expensive. I mean, you can make a mold, honestly, out of a shoebox. It doesn't matter what it is, any container. As long as you can line it, you can pretty much use anything, because this particular baking paper that I'm using is waterproof. So, and I have used it, and it's definitely worked really well. No leakages or anything like that. So make sure you don't snip off too much or anything like that. And then what I do is I just pop mine into the mold. I just try and smooth it off a bit. And then what I do is I just do a little bit of a snip on each corner so the paper can fold over. Because one thing that I did watch when Ellie Everyday was talking, she said, make sure the paper's secure and you've at least taped it down. She said, because during pouring in the soap, then that's when the paper can move, and then that's what, you know, you don't want that, because it will make sort of an ugly edge on it. So definitely make sure, like I said, that you're trying to be as neat as you can, and like I said, taping the edges, or especially the ends, because the ends will have that kind of fold over type crease in it, won't they? So yeah, anyway, so hopefully this makes sense, and I've sort of explained, you know, how to actually do this little bit, because it's so important, and it can make the soap just look really beautiful and your process be easy. And then each time you can literally use this, and then another lady was telling me that she actually uses the paper at the end, and she just cures her soap on top of the paper, so then you're not wasting that paper as well. So it's a great idea, isn't it? And there's some great tips and tricks that lots of people have. So I think we're all a community to learn and help each other a little bit. So hopefully I've helped you guys understand how to line your molds professionally. So and that way you know it's only paper, nothing else is going into it as well, which is something that I really like, this idea. I just thought it was really clever, and I'm a bit sad that I didn't try it before, but you know what? Everyone learns a new trick, don't they? So, and I'm really sold on the idea of lining it this way as well. The one thing that I'll say is don't use cheap paper. Don't use a no-name kind of brand lining. I did try that, and it leaked. All the stuff leaked all the way through. So, yeah, definitely don't do that. Buy the proper Glad Bake if you're in Australia, and I'm sure other countries probably call it something else. But for us, this is just baking paper, which is like a wax sort of proof paper, I guess you would say. But anyway, I'll let you watch the end of it, and I really hope that my video of making these, lining them, has really helped all of you. And I'll see you when you make soap next. Bye for now.